Another wild Diglett. How refreshing. Attack on Titan's back.
Dear God, it's beautiful.
Powerful Nerdcast assemble! Stay dandy, baby. Greetings, my Titanic friends. I'm Corey, the Ace Guru, and here we are, the final season of Attack on Titan, or at least what we're hoping is going to be the final season of Attack on Titan. They bait and switched us on the last one, claiming it was going to be the end, and then they end up ending on this ridiculous cliffhanger where we're about to see an epic rematch between Eren and Reiner. And this episode right here wastes no time in getting into the action. And it also just assumes that you've watched all of Attack on Titan at this point. So if you're hoping that this video is going to explain all of that stuff, well, you're pretty much shit out of luck. I'm just here to talk about this episode and my hopes and dreams for the future of the finale of Attack on Titan. Before we begin this review, let's go ahead and appease the YouTube algorithmic gods by asking all of you to like this video. If you're already subscribed, make sure you hit that bell notification icon. If you're feeling like a badass, you could also consider checking out my Patreon page where you can make a small monthly donation, which will go a long way in helping the channel and making me very happy. I would also love to add your name to this list of all these people that you see on screen. They are the Super Titans of Ace Guru. Just like the massive monsters in AOT, this series has changed and evolved. The status quo is completely different than what we saw at the beginning of Attack on Titan. And it really messed with my head a little bit, because throughout the course of that entire season, I kept questioning and asking myself, who the fuck am I supposed to root for in this story? I mean, originally it was simple. It was the men versus the monsters. Then we realized that the men were essentially the monsters themselves. Multiple factions have splintered off, and we now have a massive confrontation between all of these various groups. And that season really did change everything. And it wasn't just the origins of the Titans themselves, it was actually the characters. The main hero became the villain. One of the major villains became a hero. And some characters are not exactly black and white in terms of what they're trying to do and accomplish in the series. And I think that makes it a pretty high quality show. It doesn't just have to rely on its laurels of being incredibly badass looking with amazing fight scenes and sweeping animated sequences. It's a show that will entertain your eyes, but also your brain as well. It's the type of show that's worth rewatching so many times to see all the various intricacies between all of the characters, how they connect, how they interconnect with one another, and ultimately what they're going to turn into. Attack on Titan truly is a transformative anime series, but at the end of the day, one of the things that it is most popular for has got to be its epic animation and its amazing action sequences. And this episode right here essentially gives those type of people exactly what they want to see, because this is a continuation of the last season, picking up from the epic cliffhanger where Eren and his Jaegerists had taken over Paradise Island. All of Eren's friends had been locked away, and then suddenly the Marley Empire just strolls into town and a big epic battle is about to take place. I remember that final shot of Eren and Reiner just staring at each other as he came in on a massive war blimp. It was awesome, and I was excited, and I was also super pissed off to know that that's actually where it was going to end, and I would have to wait for what is going to be effectively another year to see the true conclusion to this story. A story which I have been waiting to see the end of for the last 9 years. There's a lot to talk about in terms of the production of Attack on Titan. In fact, I want to make a whole separate video about that. But this episode right here pretty much gave us exactly what we wanted, which was just unbridled, ridiculous, over-the-top carnage and action. They really didn't waste any time. I mean, Eren immediately went into his Titan form, Reiner jumps out of the freaking blimp, transforms into the Armored Titan, and a big battle ensues. We even got to see that Porco Galliard is there helping him in the battle, and of course the big twist that Pieck was not actually going to be joining them, but was actually there just to infiltrate to save Gabby and to help out the Marlians as they made their big massive attack on Eren and all of his people. And basically the rest of the episode is just absolute chaos and mindfuckery as we get to see all of these monsters and humans fight against one another. So, if you were hoping to see more of that awesome stuff that you love from the original Attack on Titan seasons, which is amazing hand-to-hand combat between these giant beasts, this episode delivers. I will say that I do prefer still the original animation style of the first couple of seasons. They're still using a lot of CG here, and while it works more for the Titans, it doesn't really work all that well for the humans. They just kind of look like Team America puppets as they're, flying around the city and everything. Not as convincing. Luckily, it's all backed up by some amazing production value in terms of the music and the sound effects. Hell, when Eren and Reiner are fighting one another, you feel the weight of their steps, their punches, and just the absolute raw brutality of their attacks. There are some great still shots and amazing moments from this episode, which to me are already legendary. It's just an all-out war between the people from Marley and the Jaegerists. You get all that 3D maneuver gear, you get awesome Titan battles. It's everything that you could possibly want, but they also manage to give you just a little bit more. One thing that I do love is that we get to see that Anyakapan, I think that's how I'm pronouncing his name, he actually realized how desperate this situation is, and he actually wants Eren's old friends to help out. Of course, they're incredibly conflicted because they don't want to be a part of his crazy euthanation plan, but at the same time, they want to try and redeem their friend, and they want to help him out, and of course, they don't want to be wiped out by Marley as well. So there's a little bit of, drama there, but I think the scene that really got me the most hyped was we finally go back to that pivotal scene between Levi and Zeke, where they were on the cart and there was that massive explosion, and we get to see what happened to Levi. And Levi has officially become the mayor of Strugglesville. He's not doing good. According to Hanji Zoe, he's dead. I call bullshit on this. There's no way that character is dead, especially because she actually manages to make an escape with this character, while Zeke manages to bring himself out of this other Titan that devoured him. And this is where things start to get a little confusing for me as well, as while he was in this weird state after this massive explosion, in his head, he was in the middle of the desert with this mysterious woman, and he was seeing these mysterious paths which seem to have a connection to all of the Titans. And I still don't know what it means. It's completely confusing. I should have probably already prefaced this at the beginning of my review that I do not read the manga version, so all of this shit is just really confusing to me, and I'm sure eventually it will make sense, but for now, it's just cryptic and fucking weird. The point is, Zeke is up to something, it's connected to Eren, and I'm not sure if they're working together or if there's something that they actually planned together. It's still sort of over my head at the moment, as I'm just completely blown away by all the crazy action that was going on in this episode. And that's pretty much it. That was this episode right here. Just a bunch of crazy, awesome action that you would expect from the series, a few little political moments, and of course some intrigue for the future of what ultimately this season is going to bring us. I just really hope that it ends up living to the hype. So, what's the rundown on this episode of Attack on Titan? I'm just exhausted. That's the only way to put it. Years of waiting for all of this has honestly sort of whittled me down a little bit, and it's still kind of, hard to take everything that's going on here. I mean, the last season completely changed everything about Attack on Titan. I mean, it was enough when we finally got some information about, the truths and the origins of the Titans and where they came from, but after that, it practically became a different show, rapidly introducing new characters, giving us a time skip, and just getting into a brand new aspect of the series, which completely changed everything, and I'm still feeling the effects of that now. And it's not just the brand new, production team that's working on the series. It's not the fact that the characters have been aged up and look a little different. It's just that everything is just completely different. That's the only way to put it. But it really does feel rewarding for those who've been following this for so long. Is, again, one of my favorite things about how they've changed everything in Attack on Titan and how they've revealed the information about the origins of the Titans and the overall plans and machinations of all the characters is going back and rewatching it and seeing how all of this really does feel like it was planned out from the beginning. Like I said, there's a theme of transformation throughout the course of all of Attack on Titan, and you can really feel that the more that the actual series itself goes on. What I am hoping, though, for this season is a little more focus. The last season, while it was really good and incredibly shocking with what it was presenting, was also overwhelming and confusing. It felt like everything else before was really easy to follow, even though there was, of course, some mystery, but it seems like there were a lot of details or things that were left out, and it felt like if you weren't just constantly pausing and paying attention, you might miss something. this episode in a way felt a little more classic. I'm ready for the end. You know, whether it's good, whether it's bad, I'm ready to see how this sucker is going to end. And really, I can only hope that it's going to be at least decent at this point. For now, just like the last season, I'm just going to take it for what it is and try to enjoy it. I will say that I really did enjoy this episode quite a bit. It was great to see more of Eren versus Reiner, which is always a highlight. The fights between the Titans are always great. That Warhammer Titan stuff with the giant freaking massive spikes coming out of the ground, that's just chef's kiss right there. That's some bad motherfucking shit right there. I love that stuff so much. I don't know if it'll ever really live up to the hype of the original seasons, and a lot of that mostly has to do with how sporadic the seasons of Attack on Titan has been. If there's anything consistent about Attack on Titan, basically what I'm trying to say is the most consistent thing about AOT is its inconsistency. Which is strange. You would think that would make it absolutely awful, but no, I'm just begging for more content at the end of every single episode. There's only so many other anime series out there that could do the perfect to-be-continued screen. Another one of them I do believe can be One Piece, you know, maybe even JoJo. But Attack on Titan, every single time that to-be-continued screen shows up, I just end up losing my shit. The hype is just as real as it was in 2013 in many ways, but I am ready for the ride to come to its eventual stop. We'll just have to see if it's going to be a smooth landing or it's just going to crash and burn. Really, I know this review is all over the place, and I didn't really have my thoughts really well provided, but I'm going to hope to review the rest of the season and give my final thoughts overall on Attack on Titan and see where it does end up, as I feel that my perspective will be unique, considering that I don't read the manga version, and somehow, someway, I have avoided spoilers. I do everything in my power to not look up anything about the franchise. It also really sucks that one of my good friends, you've probably seen him on the channel, Christian, has pretty much read all of Attack on Titan, so he knows everything that's going to happen, so I've been like begging him, like, don't say anything, try not to spoil anything. He just said, just watch the series, and then we can talk about it afterwards, and that's what I'm doing with you guys. This review's all over the goddamn place. I liked this episode, though. I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. I thought it was solid. I still think some of the CG moments look a little rough, mostly just the humans. The Titans themselves, I think, look really good, but this is what we've been waiting for, this epic confrontation, which did not diminish my hype. I am ready for more, and I'm ready to see how this is all going to come to a conclusion. I want to hear from you guys, though. Please tell me what you thought about this episode of Attack on Titan in the comments section below, and what you're hoping to see from the finale of the series. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. I'll see you all next time, and as always, stay dandy, baby.